But we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us.
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact.
You know that old phrase, some folks have to see it, some have to actually experience pain to wake up? Well, here you go. The election was monitored. The time will come where all of these rigged systems will come crashing down on them. But until then, the Democrats are going to have to learn the hard way. We have this to cover and more with some comms on everything that's been playing out. A lot of information to go over and some great points made on these fake victories. It's going to be something. Folks, thank you for 500,000 followers on Rumble. We really appreciate it. They supported us through these years where YouTube took us down. We are back up over at YouTube, but I'm not going to be promoting that because you never know. Any day they could shut it back down, so I didn't want everybody flocking over there to then all of a sudden lose it again. And we also just wanted to make sure we had this announcement go out as Thankful Thursdays will start tomorrow.
Hi guys, we just wanted to come on and say thank you. Personally, 2025 has been kind of a rough year for each of us, and we think it may have been a little hard for all of you too, and we just want to thank you for showing up and all your support.
We're so excited about...
This is Jamie and Angie, by the way. They take care of all of our merch and so much more.
November is always our favorite time of the year. We launch our Thankful Thursdays in November, and we love to be able to give to all of you. You guys have been such a great support to both Angie and I, and we know LT especially, and we're thankful for all our partners that we're able to donate things to send to you guys this year, so that's really exciting. And even more, we're so excited because we are launching new collections this year, and this is kind of our kickoff day for that.
Yeah, so we're super excited. You're going to see our embroider line and some stuff that's going to be fun for the coming up cruise. Just some different things that you haven't seen at And We Know before that we're excited about. So we hope to see you in March on the cruise, and we hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, a wonderful Thanksgiving, and again, we're thankful for you.
Yes, and they've done a lot of work, and thank you, Jamie and Angie, for everything that you've done. And if you guys haven't been to shop.andweknow.com, just a quick plug for that, all the new things that you're going to see there, the And We Know rhinestone keychains, the crossbody bag, fanny pack is what they call them, the golf gift pack, Fishers of Men t-shirts, the Heather Gray Ock polo with UPF protection, Henley t-shirt, available in multiple colors, the Jesus Saves, John 14:27 long sleeves, and short sleeves. We've got them all, folks, so just hope that you head over there and check it out. Thank you for the work. So remember that old phrase, sometimes you can't tell the public the truth, you must show them. It's time to wake up. Well, that's pretty much what's been going on here yesterday leading into today. President Trump was telling everyone to terminate the filibuster next week. It's connected to 9:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:55 on the cue board next week. Boom, boom, boom. He puts 3 exclamation points on there, folks. If you don't see it, you'll see it here. 3 exclamation points matches the boom, and the boom. And then we have that phrase. USMC activated US, and then you've got 3. Also, President Trump says pass voter reform, voter ID, no mail-in ballots. save our Supreme Court from packing, no two-state addition, etc., terminate the filibuster. And then Trump said also Trump wasn't on the ballot, and shut down. These were the two reasons that Republicans lost the elections tonight, which was yesterday, according to pollsters. He's letting them have it. And folks, before we get into some of that election stuff, the Senate Democrats blocked the reopening of the federal government for the 14th time. 14th time. And so many are stating that they believe, many are stating, well, what if it goes to the 17th vote and they finally let it through? We know, we've heard rumors that they might, after the election, because they use the elections as their weight, right, to get their folks in, they'll probably finally open the government. We'll see.
What is your response to what President Trump had to say there, saying that the reason that Democrats had such a good night is because A, he wasn't on the ballot, and B, the government shutdown?
Well, Donald Trump and Republicans shut the government down and refused to reopen it. Donald Trump has spent the last 35 days more time on the golf course, more time talking to Hamas, and more time talking to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill who represent half the country.
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated than that. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Hold on a second, Dana, because let's just be clear about that. Okay. American people clearly understand who's responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, but you said they shut down the government.
They did shut down the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and Donald Trump has spent the last few days saying to Republicans in the Senate, you have the power to reopen the government. They refuse to do it.
I want to talk about...
Yeah. You have the power to open the government. Yeah. They have the power to do a lot if they wanted to, and he's not... Republicans aren't going for the filibuster, right, to make all this happen. President Trump said SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, manyfold, during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office due to the fact that they are haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do, and not before. So President Trump's talking about the Democrats opening up the government, not the Republicans. So Jeffrey's caught in a lie again. It's interesting because there's CNN, if you guys are listening, not watching, that's CNN that's asking these tough questions, and they're holding them accountable. They're actually letting them know, hey, this is Dana. Hey, I just want to let you know, no, it's not true what you're saying. It just doesn't add up. My goodness. And so let's go to Caroline Levitt.
The administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment in the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP. But it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP beneficiary at home who needs that assistance, and the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government.
There you go. It's as simple as that. You know, before we keep going forward into the election stuff, I wanted to show you, in case you didn't see it, and many of you probably have, the footage of the heart-stopping moment captured on CTV footage of a UPS cargo MD-11 jet crashing into multiple buildings and bursts into flames shortly after attempting takeoff near Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport. And you can see that there for those that are looking. Heartbreaking images. The update from the FAA News, what we saw is UPS cargo flight crashed around 5:16 Eastern Standard Time, and the aircraft was a McDonnell Douglas MD-11, and you could see the fire from that crash site. Breaks your heart. And you also notice the building that was hit too, and there's probably a lot of people still at work in those buildings. And the exact moment that the plane crashed, the plane continues down the runway, engulfed in flames, and exploded upon impact. Very serious accident there. And what's interesting on all of this, too, is the shelter-in-place order after the UPS plane crashed, attempting to take off. And so there's a lot of damage there, and there's a lot of interesting things. You know, we were told on the Q board to watch out for these plane crashes. Many of them, if I remember right, 7 out of 10 of them are actually not accidents. So it makes you wonder what type of cargo was on that plane. And we know how the deep state can sometimes use these things to get rid of whatever's being delivered. And I'm just throwing that out there. We don't know what it is. Just saying these accidents just don't happen like that. And some were saying that they were looking for an engine number 1 to get repaired. I guess it didn't get repaired, and they went ahead and took off anyway. So there's just a lot of speculation. Hopefully we'll get the truth one of these days. Now, into the voting. Independent voters were accidentally not included in the election books in the entire Chester County, Pennsylvania. Yeah. This morning, Chester County, this was yesterday, informed the Department of State of the error in printing of their election books. We are in contact with the county to help them address this quickly. In the meantime, unaffiliated voters can still vote safely and securely. Also, this guy was saying, hey, he arrived in New York City 2 days ago. He's not a U.S. citizen or even a resident. I was able to get in and vote early. See this? Remember I talked about this yesterday? Just fly in people from all over the world. They land in the airplanes for a couple days, just load up the city and say, all right, you ready? And go. And they all go out and they get their votes done, and they're happy, and they enjoy New York for a few days, and they jump on an airplane and head back to whatever country they came from. So they don't have to show an ID. Alexander Duncan, this is exactly how elections are stolen. This man is openly bragging about how he arrived in New York, able to cast a vote for Jihadi Mamdani. That's how they steal these things. And ladies and gentlemen, just in case you were wondering, this is Virginia's new governor. The majority of Virginia is officially stupid, is what he say, but I would say, let's take that back, because what if this whole thing was rigged the way that they always do? Because things just don't seem right. And also that Democrat, Jay Jones, remember the one that wants Republicans dead, was proven. The man who wants all of us killed. There you go. He's the Attorney General in Virginia. He was voted in.
If you look at some of the questions over the Jay Jones text and that scandal from text back to 2022 and how this is affecting the Attorney General's race there, possibility of a split ticket, we asked voters what best describes their opinion of those leaked texts. Almost half found them to be disqualifying. About 1 in 4 said they were concerning, but then another 1 in 4 said they weren't concerned or they hadn't heard enough about it. So we'll see how they cast their vote when those numbers start to come in.
17% haven't heard enough. Does that mean we're not there yet? We don't have enough to get to the point where we can finally pursue the rest of this operation? That's what I think when they put 17 in there. We haven't heard enough. Other things. Remember, Zohran Mamdani now is going to be the mayor, right? Just like UK. I'll show you that in a moment. Remember the intern, Adika Arzu Malik, explains that electing him is part of a holy war and a jihad.
And the true believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended, I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, so what? Do what you want. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because it's about time to do that. And I know everybody has their own families and has an education and everything. Just a question. we don't want to get doxxed and we don't want to get suspended and we don't want to get arrested. How gangsta are you? That's just my question. How much are you willing to do it? And I know everyone has their own risk levels, but at the end of the day, that's a question to ask ourselves. How committed am I to this? To what extent of my personal material gains am I willing to sacrifice for this bigger noble cause? And
wow. Never forget what's going on. And we're going to show you a lot more from this Mamdani victory, New York, and how that's going to play out for the future, and how Scott Jennings really opened up CNN to wake them up about the Democrat Party and the trouble that they are in. Folks, many of us want our furry best friends to thrive. At ltpetclub247.com are all natural, USA-made supplements and treats packed with immune-boosting Coriolis versicolor mushrooms. Shed antler power, transform your pet's health. And guess what? They're so pure, they're great for humans too.
Have been suffering from ulcerative colitis my whole life. I started dosing it very, very hard, like 4 60-milligram tablets 4 times a day. To make a long story short, within about 3 weeks, I stopped bleeding.
From biscuits supporting bones, joints, and organs to mushroom blends for wellness, we've got pets and people covered. Plus, we donate profits to animal rescues like the Beagle Freedom Project. Shop affordable, natural solutions. Head to ltpetclub247.com now for vitality for you and your pet. LT Pet Club 247, health for all, 24/7. Get yours in the description box below today.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Screams all the crazy liberals. They've really lost their mind. You guys know what UK looks like after 10 years of having a mayor who's a Muslim. Well, watch this. Yep, there it is. Coming to a city near you. And I know, folks, that we're supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves, and I get it. But when it comes to setting up things where we assimilate into our own country, well, they're not going to assimilate. They're going to bring this culture, this idea, they call it a religion, but it's a political movement, into the country. And so this is going to be New York in 10 years. If they don't have the operation play out the way that we think it's going to play out, which I think they are. But New York's, they're going to need some help. They're going to need some help. They're going to need a big wake-up call, a lot of them. And wanted to show you this.
The story for tonight is actually that the Socialist Party is taking over the Democrat Party. And you know what? It was Andrew Cuomo. It was Kathy Hochul. It were the Democrats that were so afraid of their shadow, so afraid of the radical left. People like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez kept moving to satisfy them. And now they've been eaten alive. So this is a lesson for the Democrat Party. They should have fought for their party. They never fought for their party. They catered to the radical left. And now we're going to see, by the way, for people who think that they're voting for affordability here with Mamdani, a guy who believes in socialism, we're going to learn the hard way in New York City what socialism is. Your taxes will go up. And if you pay property taxes, you won't be able to afford to live in your home. And if you guess what you rent, it's going to be passed on to you in the form of your rent. Yeah. Mandates, fees, regulations, surcharges. We've seen it in this state, in this city under one-party rule for the last decade. It costs money. It gets passed on to you. So if you think you're going to get a free ride with Mamdani, you're going to learn the hard way.
That's why the answer to it.
You're going to learn the hard way. She's cut it down. Wonder if she reads the Q drops. So let's look at some folks in New York, why they really want Mamdani and so bad.
New York City
could provide trans health care for every trans person in the country who, can't afford it. And
trans health care for those that can't afford it.
And it would be a blip on our radar. I'm sure there are people who voted for Zoran who are transphobic, right? I'm sure there are people who voted for Zoran who, don't have the best opinions on other stuff. Muslims are now a voting bloc in New York City elections. That wasn't the case before. It was non-educated whites, educated whites. I love election demographics. Latinos and Black voters. Now it's also Muslim voters.
People come through to DSA by way of Zoran. That's awesome. But then we can.
New York City.
New York. Start spreading the news. Oh my goodness. I'm longing to stay.
I think I just want to offer condolences to Chuck Schumer. Honestly, what I'm reading here in New York City is that AOC is going to be the next senator from New York after she gets done whooping his rear end in the 2028 Democratic primary. And for his Senate races in 2026, I see the energy in the Democratic Party tonight behind a socialist, and I see the energy in Virginia, Democrats looking the other way on a violent candidate for Attorney General who says he wants to murder Republicans and their children. If you think you're getting rid of Graham Plattner in Maine now, think again. This is a terrible night for national Democratic image, given what is happening inside their party. Mamdani is an avowed socialist. It's not what people say that he is, it's what he says that he is. He's now the leader of their party. That's their energy, and Chuck Schumer's
He's the leader of the Democratic Party?
Let's swear. There is no. Who is the leader? Can someone tell me?
He's a life raft for Republicans who have to go on TV and.
No, you own this. You own this now. You all own this now.
You all own this now. Telling the Democrats, really, my condolences go out to you. Go ahead. Get your win. And Scott Jennings went into some other things that were very interesting. It's not like it's a big deal, you guys. I mean, you've been going left for so long. And what did you need? You just, another thing I noticed was, I think it was Ron DeSantis in Florida was talking about, why they didn't get the votes they needed? Because all of the sane people actually moved down to Florida from there. All right. So then election results. Also, Democrat Ghazala Hashmi, foreign born, is the Virginia's new Islamic lieutenant governor. In a headscarf, speaking Arabic beneath a banner declaring, he has named you Muslims.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. I'm so delighted to be back with you at this year's Jalsa Salana. I had the privilege of joining you last year, and it left a lasting impression on me, one of the unique spirituality, community service, and love of humanity. Today marks a special occasion, as we know, the 75th diamond anniversary of the Jalsa Salana here in the United States, and what an incredible milestone. This gathering is not only America's longest and oldest Muslim convention, it is in fact a reflection of the strength, the endurance, and the devotion of the Ahmadiyya community over generations. So I congratulate the 10,000 attendees who have come from across the country to be a part of this very important celebration. Your presence here today is a powerful reminder of the diversity that makes our nation so unique and so strong. I also extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Mirza Maghfour.
There you go. And then you've got Ilhan Omar. Praise be to Allah, she says, as they put out the announcement. Could not be more proud of two major victories, they say, for the Muslim American community and Democrats. The celebrations are off the charts.
Back in on Queens. I think Queens is so interesting, Sean. You look at this, just for our viewers at home. No matter where you're watching in America tonight, just stop and think about this for a moment. This is one of 5 boroughs, okay, in Queens. It's not even the most populated. In this particular borough, maybe you fly in the JFK, maybe you fly in the LaGuardia, population 2.4 million. Foreign born, 48%. languages spoken in Queens alone. 160 different languages. When you study New York City, you're studying a country. Sean, you can literally cross the street and you find people with different ethnicity, different religion. They come from different parts of the world, and they certainly vote in very different ways. And you do not have to go far in that neighborhood or on that street to find that. I just saying, very interesting to study New York for the past 2 months, really. Queens has got a third of the vote counted, a dead even 33%. Mamdani at 9.7 point advantage over Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa comes up to 11 points. So Sliwa's in double digits here. Well, I tell you this, for you viewers at home to go ahead and follow this, watch Sliwa's number. If he's in double digits, that's bad news for Andrew Cuomo.
Sure is bad news. And there he goes with that strange okay sign. We always call that the 666 sign right here. See that? 1 6, 2 6s, and 3 6s. Whenever they do that. Some say, maybe it's just me. Maybe he's just happened to put his finger there. I don't know. But then he does that right when he talks about Sliwa. It's almost like Sliwa was inserted, and he's giving the mark saying, yeah, we know what's going on. If Sliwa wouldn't have been a part of it, Andrew Cuomo, if he would have gotten all those, it would have been up to, 50.5% versus 48.7%. Not only do we have that going against Cuomo, you had the bomb threats, the machines not working, ballots with the same name on it twice. Julie Donuts reminded us, you think they want us to see all the corruption so President Trump can call a national emergency for election integrity? So let's see.
Cuomo or Mamdani?
I'm kind of confused because I want the veterans off the street, and I'm sick of paying for these. I was a big liberal, but since I seen immigrants getting stuff, and I love the immigrants who saved our country, but I don't know why the veterans got to sleep on the street. When did that happen? We become a cold society, our vets sleeping on benches.
You think Mamdani will make that worse or better?
I don't know about free buses, but he can't give everything for free.
Exactly.
I mean, my parents worked their whole life, and immigrants come here, they put 10 in a room.
Now they get put up in the nicest buildings in the city.
Not good with me. I was a big liberal, but I changed my mind. My mind. I'm going to be a moderate. I work at a church.
Yep. So the guy said, I saw what was going on, right? You had to see it. I was a liberal. I saw what was going on with these illegals taking these benefits and veterans sleeping on the streets. And I'm switching out. He had to see it. It's working. So we head over to California with Prop 50. There needs to be a major investigation into California's Prop 50.
U.S. House maps, and we can make a projection in California. The polls are closed as of now, and CNN projects that Californians have indeed voted yes on the state's newly drawn congressional district map.
The Californians did not pass Proposition 50, folks. Somehow I ended up in the Spanish side of TikTok, says Wall Street Apes. And while searching Prop 50, everyone's speaking full Spanish saying, go vote yes on Prop 50.
Comadres, ¿ya fueron y votaron? Comadres
I ran and voted, comrades of California. I already went and voted. That fast is grab their bag to go to the Rice or go to the Marshalls. Grab your stuff and go vote. Close at 8 o'clock. And they still have time. At 6 o'clock, if you see it, it's a reminder. Exercise their vote. Exercise their votes. It's the privilege. Make sure you go vote. That's right. All of you guys that can't speak English, that don't belong in this country, make sure you go vote. This is why Gavin Newsom made checking ID illegal. President Trump said the unconstitutional redistricting vote in California is a giant scam, and that the entire process, in particular the voting itself, is rigged. All mail-in ballots where the Republicans in that state are shut out is under very serious legal and criminal review. And like I showed you guys in the intro, the White House is leading investigations into these serious breaches of crime, the coup against our country. How about the machines? They were actually down in red districts of New Jersey. 2022, the machines went down in the red districts of Arizona. In 2020, the machines were down all across America. They counted 6.5 million votes in California, 60% of the ballots cast in 36 minutes. Did you catch that? For this Prop 50 vote. Tell me again why we can't have single-day in-person voting. Please also explain to me why it takes 3 weeks to count the votes in contested districts when Republicans are ahead, but end up losing. But yeah, the second they get their numbers they need for Prop 50, man, this thing's done 36 minutes. Let's get this information out. Hey, boom, we won. Had it gone the other way, we're going to have to wait 3 weeks to find out if Prop 50 was actually passed. And they'd say, we didn't really get the votes. We're counting, we're fine. Trying to figure it out. 3 weeks later, they'd say, yep, we won, Prop 50's in. That's how they work it. Let's continue on with other folks doing investigations out there.
No one can answer the question. If a Republican was advocating for Prop 50, none of these people would support it. How is this even legal? If Prop 50 was being pushed by
So she's out there asking this question about Prop 50, and they say, you don't even know. So all these people, these Asian Americans, supposedly, they can't even speak English. She found out many of them. She was talking to them, and they lined them up, and they said, look, go in there and vote. We got to get Prop 50 through. And these two characters won't even answer a question. They're like, oh, that's a stupid question. If it was Prop 50 done by Republicans, that's stupid. Well, if Prop 50 was done by Republicans, they wouldn't be there because they're against anything that the Republicans do. Because Prop 50 might be something more on the lines of maybe supporting the Republican side and getting their numbers up. So California court kills the voter ID law. Local control dies in the appeal. The California's 4th District Court of Appeal just gutted Huntington Beach's voter ID requirement. Rob Bonta and Shirley Weber won. The message: states control elections, not cities. Measure A, passed by voters to require ID in 2026, is now legally dead. Rob Bonta: California's system is already secure and uniform statewide. So, local democracy takes a backseat to state uniformity. Voters wanted voter ID. Judges said no. Election integrity arguments lost to centralized authority. Huntington Beach tried. California's bureaucracy said absolutely not. And the source for this is Organized California Governor. Wow. What a mess. President Trump, the Democrats are far more likely to win the midterms and the next presidential election if we don't do the termination of the filibuster, the nuclear option, because it will be impossible for Republicans to get common sense policies done with these crazed Democrat lunatics being able to block everything by withholding their votes. For 3 years, nothing will be passed, and Republicans will be blamed. Elections, including the midterms, will be rightfully brutal. If we do terminate the filibuster, we will get everything approved, like no Congress in history. We will have fair, free, and safe elections, no men and women's sports, or transgender for everybody, strong borders, major tax and energy cuts, and will secure our Second Amendment, which the Democrats will also terminate immediately. If we don't do it, they are far more likely to do well in the upcoming elections, which would mean a packed Supreme Court, 2 more states, and 4 more Democrat senators and 8 more electoral votes. He's getting his information out, and he also put this out. And so it begins. And so it begins. Dan Scavino hit drop 2350 below 2 weeks ago, saying the same thing, and so it begins. You know, the markers on this are really, really important to talk about. As a matter of fact, Ultra Magadine Erickson says President Trump's truth, and so it begins, has a timestamp of 11:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you start with, and so it begins. It's actually right there on the drop, guys, right there, and so it begins. Double meanings exist. It's very important with the markers versus the dates. It says Q2349. And so it begins. How do you start a war? Question mark. Dean Erickson says rigging elections and throwing a coup against the American people. Markers matter. Well, the marker is 11.3, 11.4, and guess what? Tomorrow is 11.5. What that would be today. Playbook fail. Their playbook's going to fail. Funny. Serious. Night 5. Double meanings exist. So with markers in the kill brackets, along with night and 5 in the kill brackets, that's this one here, night and 5. See that? I believe we're in the night before the 5th. That was yesterday, or 11.5. So if you put it together, and so it begins, they rigged another election and tried throwing a coup against the American people, which is an act of war. Their playbook failed. This is the night before it begins, and it begins on 11.5. Let's see what happens. And remember the 5th of November. Let's just take a pause here. Hang out with Mike at Hunter's Blend Coffee.
Hey, Sarah, come get a load of this. Yeah, our neighbor's out in the backyard again. He's got a camera set up and he's talking to it all by himself out in the middle of his backyard.
For one last final special pot of coffee.
Yeah, and he's all by himself, yes.
Then fill your coffee maker all the way to the top with gas.
And he's got a coffee maker. What does he think he's on, some kind of morning TV talk show or something?
Then brew up a single shot of Hunter's Blend coffee. Hook your old brewer up to a lawnmower battery.
Ah! Ah! Did you hear the windows rattle? Oh, I'm running.
Don't you guys just love that? Oh, man. Hunter's Blend Coffee. They're in the description box below, folks. You can click on that link. And you see that QR code. If you're watching it on your screen, just put your phone up there and you'll take you straight to their site. Seasonal spotlight they got going on. Christmas collection, the Christmas gift box, the tumbler, the beanie and coffee bundle, and so much more. They're locally roasted specialty coffee for freedom-loving Americans. They only buy the top 6% of specialty coffee beans, roast with precision in small batches, and ship locally roasted coffee fresh to your door. They support organizations and causes that are near and dear to the hearts of many freedom-loving Americans: pro-life, youth shooting sports, veterans, hunting and conservation, patriot, and anti-sex trafficking. It's in the description box below or the QR code on your screen. Folks, absolutely amazing. And we just so glad that they are part of our team. Barack Obama destroyed our healthcare system. American just logged in to view the new 2026 health insurance rates, folks. His monthly cost is going from $798 to $1,208.91 a month. The family deductible has gone from $0 to $11,900. Primary care copays have doubled. Urgent care copay went from $10 to $60. Generic prescription copay has doubled. Quote, my husband just had to have a prescription filled that is supposed to be covered by insurance. And you want to know what the copay was on that after insurance? $1,200 for a prescription on top of the $798 health insurance premium that we just paid. I don't know if we can keep our heads above water next year. I know we're not the only ones going through this, and this just makes me sick. He used to only pay $59 a month. Whew.
So I just went down the Affordable Care Act rabbit hole, and I'm genuinely shocked that Americans are not more outraged about this entire thing. The Affordable Care Act subsidies that the Democrats are requiring to extend in order to reopen our government are subsidies that are paid with taxpayer. Obama said you must use the Affordable Care Plan or pay a fine or get insurance elsewhere. You must have insurance. You must use Obamacare. It will be affordable. And then it ended up not being affordable at all. So we had to subsidize the cost of it with taxpayer money that is paid directly to insurance companies who are causing the driving up of healthcare costs in the first place. This is such a scam. And people aren't outraged. Like, it sounds so noble that the Democrats want people to have affordable health care, but Obama forced people to have affordable health care that wasn't affordable at all, so taxpayers have to pay it, but we pay it directly to the private insurance companies that make healthcare unaffordable. Can someone clarify if I'm missing something? Because this is wild.
It is wild. They're starting to get it. And if you're looking at your screen, somebody's showing even more, showing proof.
For fun, I decided to go on to the marketplace and see what my family of 4 would cost for monthly insurance. So as you can see, these are the lower tier ones. These are the bronze plans, and it's around $1,800 a month plus, a $3,000 to $8,000 deductible. That's per person. And then you keep going, and these are turn into some of the higher plans. The only insurance I take as a DPC member or owner, I should say, is mending, because they do have a DPC option for patients. So you pay them like you regularly would, and they pay me, the practice, the membership fee. Keep going. Oh yeah, 20.
Wow. What a scam. It's tearing up many lives. I'm going to get into something now that has been on my heart. I wanted to share it each video, but I just didn't have time. We'd run out, and going to get to it now. I'm going to show you first this clip.
You only need one thing, and you can spot whether or not you're standing in the middle of a psyop. That one thing is, if the opinion that's coming out needs people to be silenced, it's a psyop. There are psychological operations in play.
Wow. So if you can't question it, if you're supposed to just go along, it's a psyop.
Yeah, and if people have to be silenced or publicly shamed because of their information, and they're not telling people the sky's falling, they're just saying basic stuff, and they need to be silenced. That is a psyop.
So, it's a psyop if they're trying to shut you up. If you're trying to be silenced. You guys remember we kind of went through this with the whole COVID thing, right? I mean, everybody remembers. Can't believe it's, was it 5 years ago now? We got started on all this, and then we went through 2 to 3 years of nothing but pain. And if we brought up anything against the COVID narrative, they'd attack us. If you talk to your family members, they go crazy. If you didn't wear your masks, you were attacked. If you said anything about the hospitals, they went after you, right? You had to be silenced. Silence. You're not allowed to talk about this. Well, then we head over to some event called Republican Jewish Coalition. And they had this guy, Mark Levin. I watched him for years. And I saw what he was doing on the stage, and I thought, why in the world is he acting like this? And why is he so angry? Why is he so angry? What if we got out here and folks got on a stage and started screaming and saying, if these guys say this thing about us, the truthers, then I'm going to tell you right now, they have to go through me. LT is running at X22, SGT report. Where are the leaders? If we did that and screamed and yelled, you know what they would do to us? What happened to free speech? You're going to be in shock when you hear how he talks.
For 6 months, I've been fighting these, whether it's Tucker Carlson or whether it's Nick Fuentes, and I've been looking over my shoulder looking for help. And you know what I found? Nothing. Nothing. We're here today to do something about this. What do you mean we don't cancel people? We canceled David Duke. Donald Trump canceled David Duke. We canceled Pat Buchanan.
Pat Buchanan. So I'm going to pause it there for a second. Watch what happened. Watch what happened to Pat Buchanan if you're looking at your screen. Okay, you ready?
We canceled Pat Buchanan.
See that? They're screaming and yelling. They run up while he's talking. He said, we canceled him. We did it the way we're supposed to. Let's get back to this.
We canceled the John Birch Society. We canceled Joseph Sobran. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system. They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you. No Hitler admirer, Holocaust denier, platformer should be anybody's friend, as a matter of fact. You don't get to wrap your psychotic, mental, unhinged, Nazi, Klan, jihadist around American patriotism. You don't get to claim you're MAGA and America first when you're lining up with the Marxists and the Islamists and Hamas and the terrorists. The cowards. We're surrounded by cowards who have microphones, who have TV cameras, who have websites, who have columns. Cowards. It's spelled C-A-R-L-S-O-N. It's spelled F-U-E-N-T-E-S. It's spelled O-W-E-N-S. It's spelled B-A-N-N-O-N. It's spelled Marjorie Trader Green. You can figure that out yourself. And they're not alone. How are we going to attack the Mondamis and the Talibs and the Omars and the Sanders and the rest of them when in our own house this poison is spreading?
So he's lumped them all together to go after and spell out the people that he wants to go after. You know, it's interesting because we spend a lot of time here going over information. I'll tell you guys to go research yourself if you can find out who's out there saying things that don't line up with the truth or movement or more. We try really hard not to point certain ones out. I pointed out, I think a month ago, 2 months ago, I said, this person really shocked me. And I played a clip saying, I will never vote for Trump again because of what he did with, I believe, the bombing of the Iran nuclear place, right? The whole thing with that. I was like, why would you go against President Trump because something you didn't agree with? Now all of a sudden, all the great things he's done is wiped out because one little thing that he didn't do perfectly for you. And I was freaking out, so I pushed play on that particular Candace Owens clip. Doesn't mean that I'm upset with her, and I said, hey, we need to pray for her, that she would wake up and learn her ways. But going out there and spelling this out and calling them cowards, and he went on to say everybody that has a microphone or these small podcasters, there was another clips like that think that they're going to get by with this, we're going to make sure that we cancel them. When did this become a point where there's no longer free speech? When did we become a country where you can stand up and say, we're going to make sure that you're you're going to be stopped for your free speech? Really? I just kind of freaked me out. I was like, man, who is this guy? Is this the same guy? Mark Levin? And so I guess you'd be pretty upset with this guy too. This guy right here, who's gone now.
I'm going to continue to ask the question. A 20-hour response in a country the size of New Jersey. That begs a big explanation. And more importantly, America is significantly underwriting the Israeli government $4 billion a year. We as American taxpayers deserve answers to this. We deserve answers. Also, if we're going to get into a regional or world war based on an intel failure, we pay for this. What are we buying, right? I got smeared as a Jew hater, an anti-Semite, and conspiracy theorist because I said exactly what I just said. And I refuse to back down despite all the smears thrown at me because I learned during COVID. I learned when they told us that it came from a bat in the Himalayas. I learned when they told us the vaccine was safe and effective. I learned when they told us that ivermectin was horse paste, that you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. Thank you so much.
So I guess he would be up there, this guy Levin, saying L-E-V-I, no, not L-E-V-I, K-I-R-K. He'd probably be screaming that out too if he wasn't gone. It's almost like, man, people just start disappearing. We're going to make sure that they're gone and they're not going to be able to speak anymore because they're using their freedom of speech and asking questions, and you don't like their questions and you don't like them connecting the dots. What's up with that? It's very interesting. Let's play this.
We don't have a right to kill people. We do not have a right to kill the innocent, period. Because we're not God. And that's the dividing line between me and Ben Shapiro. And that's why when I said, Hiroshima, of course I'm for forcing Imperial Japan to stop doing what it's doing, make them apologize. I'm for beating them. I am. But I'm not for incinerating tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of their civilians, because the civilians didn't do anything wrong. And I don't think we're allowed to kill the innocent. So I say that on Rogan. And Ben Shapiro's like, Holocaust denier, or so whatever, something, one of these meaningless phrases that mean Nazi, bad person. And it's like, why would that bother you? Why are you so offended that I'm opposed to killing innocents? And of course, the answer is because your whole worldview and the whole purpose of your life is to justify killing innocents. And clearly the joy in your life derives from killing innocents. And so that's who we're dealing with here. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Lindsey Graham literally said the other night, he's like, we're killing the right people. Man, imagine what it's going to be like standing at the end, at the judgment, because there is a judgment, period. And like you were celebrating killing the right people. Like, ugh, I wouldn't want to be that man. And I mean it. I'm not trying to be self-righteous. Like but I hope I'll never have to answer for taking glee in the killing of human beings. Like we're not allowed. Check yourself.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, they're having these conversations. It's an open dialogue. People might not like what they say, but, they're talking about it. And so we have reports out there like this, this one here. Let me see.
I'm at the site of an Israeli airstrike yesterday on the village of Aito. That's in Zgharta, a very Christian area in the north of Lebanon. This is a small mountain village, and this house was hit. It was sheltering about 29 displaced people who'd fled from the south and the suburbs of Beirut. The house has been completely flattened. In the trees behind, you can see there are still clothes that have been flung around. Civil defense volunteers are behind me, still sorting through the rubble. They've now removed all the bodies. 23 people were killed in this strike, many of them children. You can still smell the burning on the air, and in the background there are Israeli jets flying overhead. This really is a complete...
So an Israeli airstrike on North Lebanon Christian village of Aito. This is the kind of stuff that Tucker's talking about. It's like, why are you just going in there killing and bombing civilians? And it's weird because Mark Levin's even put out there, who knew at a time like this, they're coming out of the closet, even some you'd never expect. And he's pointing out General Flynn and his drops. This is called foreign interference in the United States political system. Every member of the House and Senate should be asked directly, do you have an AI PAC handler? CAG Drago, just a reminder, the only one foreign government has a babysitter designated to each of our political representatives, overseeing every action they make. Nearly 100% of our politicians have an AI PAC guy. Mark Levin's upset about that. Hey, he's got a right to free speech, but don't say we're going to cancel these guys out because of their free speech. General Flynn responded to Mark Levin, no, Mark, I believe this is a legitimate question. Do our elected representatives get financial assistance from an Israeli lobby? Do they get assistance from Big Pharma? Do they get assistance from Qatar? Do they get assistance from XYZ company or group, etc.? We need to know who our elected representatives are influenced by when we are making decisions about whether or not we should vote for them. I believe these are very legitimate questions to ask. Do not make this all about Israel. I'm not. Make this about what is best for America. Yeah. Oh.
How about little Ada Fuentes? What did his family do for this country? What did he do?
So he calls him Adolf Fuentes. I don't know Fuentes. I think I saw a clip of him. I've never watched him. Don't know who the guy is. Couldn't tell you.
How about Tucker Carlson? What did he do for the country? He interviews the Qatari, interviews Putin. He interviews the lowest of scum, genocidal maniacs on the face of the earth.
Really? Wow. So he's going to start name calling. Is something wrong? Is he angry about something? Are his numbers dropping and he's not getting the followers anymore? I mean, folks, I went to Mark Levin's, let's see if I can go to his post. Let me see. Is he on X? Since I'm just here recording. Yeah, let me go to his show. Like, man, what is wrong with him? Why is he so mad? Let's see. Looks like maybe we've got... Yeah, he posts something about Fuentes, I think, here. And somebody said that time of the mark month, like, are you having a bad day? This is a psychotic rant from an adult. All these other folks are posting things underneath his X, like, they're not very happy with him right now.
Now he's attacking Christian Zionists. He's literally attacking the Bible, that are evangelical Christian brothers and sisters. And it's not just that.
I didn't never see... Did you guys see Tucker attack the Bible? Like, literally attack it? That's the kind of stuff I'm wondering. Like, I just don't understand why Levin is having this type of dialogue now. It baffles me. So let me know below the video in the comments what you guys think is going on.
It's Catholics. Ted Cruz is a Catholic. He's a great man. He's out there fighting. They're attacking Christianity. Why? Because Christianity rejects what they're spewing too. Judaism rejects it. Christianity rejects it. Atheists reject it. Agnostics reject it. Gay people, straight people, women, men, we all reject it. So why is it so hard for people in my business or people in leading positions in government to do the same thing? What are they afraid of? They need to be afraid of regular Americans like you and me. They need to be afraid of us. So when they hear stuff like that, they say, what? What are we going to say?
So let me show you one more thing about the podcast. Finally found it. Here you go.
And I just want the anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me. And you're not going to make it. You think your stupid little podcast, or your stupid little subscription program, or your little TV show, or maybe you have a little radio show, is going to change the world like hell it is, not if I and everybody else have something to say about it. And I just want...
So we have to go through him. So he's the authority. He's the man that's got all the accolades. He's the one that's on Fox News. He's got his radio show. He's claiming that he's better than everybody else, that all the other voices have nothing, and they have to come through me. I'm the grand poobah, and you have to go through me to make it and to get your message out, and it's not going to work. What message is he talking about? And he said that they're anti-American. If you have an open dialogue and ask a question, you're anti-American? If you have a question about the Mossad or the crazy leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu, you're anti-Israel? Like, has he lost his mind? I don't know. I get frustrated, folks, sometimes, and this is one of the ones I just, like, man, Mark, I supported you, man. I listened to your show. I actually played clips of you and intros for this show for, man, when I go back and look at old intros, there you are. Man, I supported you. What are you doing? So that makes me think about, on the positive side, guys that are not spewing out all kinds of rhetoric of anger. One of those is Dr. Kirk Elliott. He's always just loving and supportive of all of us with the talk about gold, and he doesn't get into all the mess and the fighting and issues that are going on with these guys that calling people haters and more. He gets into the truth that helps each of us every day in our daily lives with our IRAs. If we bring up the fiat cash and switch it over to silver and gold, it's changing people's lives.
It's oversold. It comes below this line, right? So I'm thinking, wow, this is like pretty amazing what we're going to see moving forward, because now the stage is set.
The stage is set, and you guys got to go check out that interview that we did last Saturday. He gives great predictions on where silver's going, and I'm telling you, it's a great time to jump on board. We are watching a huge operation play out, and he's a big part of it, I believe. And I tell you, The noose is tightening on all the pedos that reside in our state and local governments. Democrat North Carolina State Representative Cecil Brockman resigns after being hit with child sex charges. Folks, they're coming after them little by little, one at a time. And I'll never forget this quote.
But that's for young men to do.
This is Ricardo Bossi, Lieutenant Colonel retired.
The reason the way it's playing out is this: could DJT do that? Yes. Would it be a workable solution for a long-term resolution of the problem? Absolutely not. The analogy I used when people say, "Why don't we just rip the Band-Aid off?" Well, that's one analogy, but a better one is this: the house we're renovating is so rotten. Every beam has got termites through it. It's still standing. It looks great from the outside, but you touch the wall and you can hear that hollow sound. And so if the military was let off the leash and just started taking out the targets they knew about, the whole house would come down. What DJT and his team are doing is one by one, they're identifying all the beams that need to be replaced, basically all of them. And so the second point is, does he then flush the termites out? No, because then the other termites will hide elsewhere. We cannot afford to create the conditions for the next war by fighting this one poorly. This has to be fought legally, it has to be fought lawfully, it has to be fought intelligently, with a view to not creating the conditions for the next war. Which means the way it's fought is this: everybody, and that's why there are so many sealed indictments in their hundreds of thousands. There's a knock on the door, and you either get a hard knock or a soft knock. And the hard knock is you're going down. You are so bad, you're going down, and they're looking at the business end of a 9mm SMG. Now, that's great for that need to be removed because they are so evil, so bad, so destructive. But the majority just need to be warned. You will now follow instructions. We've got we've got, what's the expression? We have the receipts on you. We've got the evidence on you. Here's the pictures. Gentleman walks in, nice suit, overcoat, has a meeting, pulls out an envelope. The gentleman opens up the envelope, sees a photograph of himself or herself in what might be called a depraved and compromising position, slides the photograph back in, and he says, "What do you want?" Because these guys are cowards, all of them. They all lack a spine, which is great. And so the way it's playing out, and the only way it can be played out, is one by one by one by one. They are advised they've got the dirt. They will now follow instructions. If they fail to do so, they'll be removed from the face of the earth, legally, lawfully, charged, found guilty, and executed.
And it'll happen one at a time, and the messaging will come from the white hats too. What do you mean messaging? Well, you guys know when Mamdani was getting ready to come out and give his victory speech. If you're looking at your screen, while he was getting prepared to come out, on the stage behind him was a giant projection, and it says, "Trump is your president." Trump trolled him. And when they put that up there, all the people in the room started booing. Just about everybody saw it. Oh, man. And never forget how this all started with the podcast today. President Trump. And so it begins. Folks, that phrase was used by King Theoden in the Lord of the Rings movie, The Two Towers, right before the major battle at Helm's Deep. Remember where all the demons are screaming and they're yelling and they're lined up by the millions and they're about to attack the city? The phrase can be used to signify the start of a major or significant event. So don't forget this. 11:05 today. And so it begins.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, again, we come before your throne. We are so thankful for how you continue to guide and direct our lives. We're thankful for you sending your only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. We thank you that you continue to love and guide us and direct us. We don't deserve it. We are fallen, and we know it, and we just come before you asking for continued support and help every single moment of every day. We're watching many key moves being made, and we know that you see it all. We know in the end that you win. And as we're in this little season going in before the new heaven and new earth come down, we're just seeking your face to ask that you would continue to bring protection over the leaders that are on this earth, all of the military, all the folks in this operation, that they would be watched over by you, and we'd watch the enemy continue to disintegrate right before our eyes. Regardless of how these election results played out, may we see the big picture and understand you've got a great plan. You're waking many people up to the debauchery that's happening all around them. You're an amazing God. And we thank you for continuous victories every single day. We bring this before your throne in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for just taking the time to reach out to Jamie and Angie as they put together great programs for this month, and they do every single day with new stuff for you. It's been just wonderful how our Heavenly Father put us all together. And if you're thinking about the cruise, please jump on board before we close it up. It's in the description box below. For now, this LT, Semper Fi with them we know, signing out.
Knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us.
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact.